Good evening, guys, and happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I actually got a ton of editing done today for being a Sunday, which normally I don't tend to get that much done on a Sunday because a lot of times we have a lot of other stuff like going on or, you know, whatever. But we didn't really have anything else going on today, and nothing really that I had to do either. Like, I know my dad was taking care of, and I don't know if he did or not. He's supposed to be taking the clothes out of the primary bedroom, which was his and my mom's room when they were downstairs, moving all of the clothes out of there, and, you know, move them upstairs or whatever, because the clothes are still in some of their clothes are still in the downstairs closet, and my clothes are still in the one bedroom because this room does not have a closet. So like, I used the one was in my mom's office, and that's the one that Jack's gonna have when he moves in here. And then again too, I'm gonna have the primary room with the actual closet that's on there now. But because we're doing all the construction stuff in that back room that was my mom's office, and, you know, again too, we have, like I said, a handful of things that have to get done, like the floors and like all that kind of stuff. But because of that, the closet in there, I need to move my stuff out because there's still carpet that's actually in there that was from when the original, like, not when we originally moved into the house, even before, like, probably into the homeowners before us had put in, and it's still in there. Like, my parents took all the carpet out but just left the carpet in the closet in there, and so it still has the green carpet that originally was in, I think, all of the rooms but this room. I think this might have been the only bedroom that didn't have carpet. I know the primary bedroom had also green carpet. I know that the main living room had green carpet, and it's funny because I was going through pictures today, and my aunt's pictures that I've told you guys, this has been about a month now that I've been doing it, but like, I haven't been devoting that much time. Like, again to today, I spent maybe like 2 hours or something like that working on it. You know, I haven't had the brain capacity to really work on it and like get it finished yet. But I will say, I think 90% of the photos are organized. They're all where they're supposed to be. 99% of them are at least categorized still in like where they should be, but I'm not necessarily sure what like envelopes I want them in or whatever. So what I'm doing is, I didn't like the way I had mainly most of the 90s photos, which was a lot of the photos of like when like my aunt and uncles, their first grandkids, like that's when me and my older cousins were born, and so all of those photos, because my one cousin's a year older than me, my other cousin's a year younger than me, or like I think he's 11 months younger than me. My other cousin's a year and a half or something like that older than me, I think. But there was like the three of us, and then Matthew came around in 2000 but there was the three of us in like the 90s, and so there's lots and lots of photos from like grandkids, and again to me, and like, you know, again, like that kind of stuff. Just the three of us. There was a lot of photos from like Christmas parties, birthday parties, like all that kind of stuff. And so the 90s have a lot of photos and so specifically from 94 until pretty much 99, and then there was, funny enough though too, a lot less photos in like the 2000s, but also too, that was almost the point when things started to kind of also move a little bit more digital. So like, again too, maybe a couple of years in, you know, the early 2000s, but then after that everything started to move digitally. And although my aunt still has photos from like, again to like the next set of grandkids which were born in 2005, way more of those are probably like more digital photos that they also had to, and there's less of them from that time. So like, again too, there's a huge big chunk of like 90s photos, and I have like, again too, like 1996 or something like that. It's got like 3 envelopes, like thick envelopes full of like, again too, there's probably like 100 or more photos. I'd say probably a couple hundred photos maybe even from just that year. And so I'm like, I don't like that I just have, because I have everything done by date, and so especially in the 90s, so like those photos I have them all organized, but I want to maybe, instead of just being like, okay, this was January through December, I might want to just pull some of those photos. It's like, you know, again, so-and-so's first birthday, so-and-so's second birthday, you know, like Christmas, maybe if there was a lot of photos, like if there's like maybe 20 or more photos from like a certain event, then I'm thinking I'm going to pull them and put them in their own separate little category, in their own little envelope then, and then kind of still have like the big bulk of like all of the you know, photos photos from that year still in, you know, because if it was like, oh, just a trip to like the, you know, the farm or something like that, like the petting zoo, you know, like that kind of thing, I'll make them into their own full envelope of photos that's only going to be like maybe 10 or photos or something like that. But again, too, multiple of those over the entire course of a year does end up adding up. So that's why there's so many photos. But it's like, I don't feel like giving that one its own envelope when there's not that many photos from it or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. I think I'm just going to fine tune, go through everything one last kind of time, and then any of the photos too that while I'm doing this I can't place, because all those photos that I don't have a specific date for, I want to kind of just go through and be like, okay, should I, you know, match these up, and you know, if I can match them up, and then if not, just be like, okay, this is probably circa 19, you know, like 94 to 90 something, you know, or just circa 1990s, something like that, you know, like, and these were like, again, two photos of when my cousins were little, you know, like I said, like us and that kind of stuff, and like I can place that, like, again, too, this was probably sometime between those, you know, couple of years, but as far as like what year specifically, I don't know, and I don't want to just throw them into a spot and hope for the best, you know, oh, I hope they belong there. So I'm just gonna do like anything that's like not confirmed date, but it's probably around this time. That's where I'm at with it, and I'm hoping, honestly, I'd love to have it done by the end of this week to be able to get them back to my aunt's for Easter. The only thing is that I have not scanned any of the photos at all. I haven't used my mom's scanner to scan any of them, so I want to have them done by Easter and be able to tell my aunt that they're done, and just ask her if I can hold on to them just to scan them, and any, you know, and get a lot of the older photos, especially to digital photo, you know, scan them, but tell her everything is organized, everything is in all of its envelopes. If she wanted them back right now, I can give them to her, but she's also in the process of moving, so I feel like it might be a little bit easier if I held on to them until maybe some of that stress is a little bit, you know, like not as much for her right now. So, you know, again, too, or even, I don't know, like I said, it could still be a very, very long time out before she actually does move. But, you know, again, too, if it's easier for like for us to get the pictures just to her or whatever, you know, something like that, you know, when she moves, if that's easier that way or whatever it is. But anyway, so I mean, it might be easier to just get them back to her so that she knows and she can get them moved, you know, properly into the new place. But anyway, so like I said, I'm hoping to have them at least all done and finished 100% organized by Easter. That's my goal by next Sunday, because we'll see her for Easter on Sunday, but then just ask her and tell her, like, I'm done with them, I just want to know if I can hang on to them and scan all the photos, which again, too, I'm hoping is not going to take all that long, especially once everything's organized. I can just be like, okay, I'll just take these photos out. And again, too, if there's other stuff like, oh, this was just a vacation, you know, with a whole bunch of stuff, like, that's not, I don't want those pictures, I don't want to scan those or whatever. Mainly a lot of the old photos that I really want to scan and have copies of, like digital copies of, like, again, to my great grandparents that I have photos of, and, you know, my great grandparents and my grandma, and like pictures I've never seen of her when she was a little kid, you know, like that kind of stuff. I want digital copies of those photos. But then there's also a lot of other photos that I haven't seen. For example, I think I was telling you guys too, there was photos that I saw from a Christmas party that we hosted at our house, I think the first Christmas we lived here, and I had no clue, because I've seen a couple of photos that we've had of our living room back when I had carpet, but from that Christmas party, apparently we were there, or we were here and living in this house at this point, and we had the Christmas party and the living room still had carpet, and that was like mind-boggling to me, because my mom must have ripped it out probably maybe that following spring, because we did not have carpet for very long at all in this house. When we did first move in, there was carpet in the living room, in the primary bedroom, and I believe in the back room as well, but not in here. I think this might have been the only room that never had carpet. It was always hardwood in here, and this was always kind of more like, especially decorated, more of like the nursery kind of room, also because it didn't have a closet, and there was like teddy bear wallpaper on the walls and stuff like that. Some of the really old vlogs when I was in this room, because I've been in this room for almost 10 years now. Actually, I think it might be over 10 years. I moved down in here, I think, my senior year of high school. I think it was like Christmas time maybe, or sometime, I want to say it was right around the time I went back after winter break. So it wouldn't have been like following in like 2014. Now that it's 2024, it is just about, it, like I said, it's probably been about 10 years since I moved back in here. It's probably been a little bit over that now, maybe a handful of months or weeks or something like that, at least, since it would have been 10 years ago around this time. I've been in here for a long time, but this floor and, like I said, the room, it had like teddy bear wallpaper on it and stuff like that until I ended up painting it and changing it. I think it was maybe about 3 years actually after I moved in here. It took a little while, but well, the thing was that it didn't have teddy bear wallpaper. It did when we first moved in, and then again to a handful of years after that my parents ended up changing it into like a rainforest themed room. But then my parents were actually in this room. This was their bedroom for a period of time as well, and during that time my mom was like, I want to repaint in here, and she didn't want the rainforest wallpaper because it was like around like this, like the chair rail space. There was like wallpaper, you know, like roll wrap kind of, you know, stuff that was on there, and she didn't want it anymore, so she tore the rainforest stuff off, which I think was better than the teddy bears that were underneath. And some of that I could not even get up because it was like so plastered over from like the other stuff, and I don't know what they used to get that wallpaper on the teddy bear stuff. But there's some spots too, if you look like really hard on some of them, like I can see right now, there's some spots where I couldn't rip the wallpaper off, so I just sanded it because I couldn't do anything else. I tried everything. I looked up every single hack. I bought all of the special tools for removing wallpaper. Like, compared to the other rooms that had wallpaper where it was so easy to just like rip this stuff off the walls, I mean, I tried everything, and that stubborn wallpaper would not come off, that teddy bear wallpaper. And so there's still, like I said, some remnants of it that you can barely kind of tell. Like, if you put your hand over it, you can kind of feel a difference in the texture on the wall, but other than that, it's not really hardly noticeable at all. Like I said, I did a very good job, I think, of covering it over and hiding it, but it's just the fact that it, you know, like it haunts me that it was like the teddy bears, and then also the fact that it was such a pain to try and get up. So yeah, anyways, though, that was all, you know, pretty much taken care of when I repainted in here. Now that I'm moving in here, out of here, this room will also be repainted again. So, but like I said, I've been in here for a while, and when I repainted it, I think I repainted it in 2017. I think it was shortly after my grandma had passed away. It was either 17 or maybe it was 18. No, I think it was 17, I think, because I remember, I think it was Matthew's last year of high school, and he had football camp over the summer, and we painted it over the summer. And the only reason I remember that too was because while I was out of this room, because I had everything, all of my stuff was removed out of this room. And I remember too, because Matthew and Jack were upstairs, I moved my mattress and all my stuff upstairs, and I slept on my mattress up there with the two of them in their like room kind of things that were upstairs. But I remember Matthew getting up super early to go to football, like practice, like the summer camps in the summer, and I would like still be asleep when he got back from like camp, and he'd like come upstairs, and then I'd hear him and he'd wake me up. And so that's why I was like, we need to hurry up and get my room finished, because you were waking me up in the morning going to camp and then getting back from camp. And yeah, so this room, it didn't take that long, actually. It should have probably only been like a 2 or 3 day process in total to like redo everything in here that needed to be done, because it wasn't just that too. We were also like redoing electrical stuff and things like that in here too, but I don't remember why. I think we kind of procrastinated a day or two with the painting. It took a little bit longer, and then I think I was up there for, it was less than a week definitely, but I think it was supposed to only be like 2 or 3 days was the plan, and I think it turned into like a 5-day thing in total. But yeah, so anyways, that is the room and the updates on the room. But yeah, my dad is supposed to be getting his stuff moved out so that I can get my stuff moved, and then all the other rooms can get finished up. But my dad did put in the new outlet yesterday, which he was like, I honestly thought it was going to be a 2-day process to get it done. He's like, I'm kind of surprised that it only took me 1 day and I was able to finish it totally, like completely in 1 day. So like I said, then he ended up working on the other stuff that still has to get done, and he also got in touch with our contractor, who I think might come out one day at least possibly even tomorrow to come and look and then give us like an estimate for the work that has to be done, which is just a little bit. It should only take like a couple hours for him to probably do the work, but then he's gonna have to come back because he has to wait for the drywall, like the mud, to dry for the patches that have to be done in the roof. But then after that he'll have to like then sand it, but he'll have to come back on another day when it's dry. But anyways though, that is you know, like I said, we're kind of on the right track with him getting that stuff done and taken care of as well. But anyways, I'm going to take a shower now and get to bed. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.